Hello.
Good morning. How are we doing?
I'm very good. How are you? I'm loving the fur. You look very snuggly.
Well, thank you very much. For those of you who might just be listening and not looking, I've got the famous cardigan on that appeared on yesterday's
Beautiful.
Daily Tap that the card 100% matched, which is just
Oof.
mind blowing. But there you go. That's my sign that the cards and the message are spot on and big. So yes, I've got the High Priestess of Light Oracle cardigan.
Ah, isn't that
Oh,
amazing when all that synchronicity comes in and
yeah.
the subject, like whenever we don't plan what we're doing other than we have a subject matter, an emotion or a topic, and then it just unfolds. And then the things that happen around that, it's just great.
It's nothing short of magical, is it? And I think that, I really like this format that we do now that you've said that, because I think it's really important to let it free flow. If we'd have scripted this, you've got the potential to miss out on so much.
Mm.
Having said that, I did sit and think probably about 6 or 7 minutes this morning about what we would.
Yeah.
I have a very different take on anger. We're going to do anger today, by the way. But I have a bit of a different take on it because I work with the chakras and actually the movement of energy in the body. So what we're not going to do today is talk about details. You don't have to tell me anything because let's face it, we can be angry about lots of different things and we don't always want people to hear that. So that's fine. You don't have to tell me anything. And we're going to focus on the physical, and I'm going to explain a little bit first, and then we're just going to do a bit of an exercise where a bit like chasing the pain, but we kind of tune into how we feel that vibration is changing in our bodies. It's a really cool way to do it because it means it's really safe. And if you do this with clients, it means they can have their privacy and they don't
Yeah.
have
And
to
that's true of anything, isn't it? Any subject, any emotion, anything. That's the beauty of these techniques. You don't, as a practitioner, you don't need to know anything that's going on in your client. They can share as much or as little as they want and they will still get the benefits. But anger, the purpose, let's talk a little bit about the purpose of anger and why we have it, because all our emotions are there for a reason. And I think it's two things. One, the energy to create change. So when you're angry about something, you're going to go out and protest, you're going to do something, gives you that rush of energy. But it's also a cover emotion for hurt.
Yeah.
People would rather be angry than sad, essentially. It's like easier to blame other people and scream and shout and blah, blah, put it out there than feel the pain of rejection or hurt or whatever it is.
It's a really good point. And in all the years that I've been doing this, I don't know about you, but whenever we've dealt with anger, and that's been what we call the presenting issue, the main thing that they think they feel, it always gives way really quickly. And it's 99% of the time, it's like a really deep sadness that comes out of that because of, it doesn't feel fair or something just feels wrong, or maybe it's even that you're out of control or you're, whatever, you feel like life is happening to you or something's happening to you and there's no control there. But it's off the back of somebody doing something to you that hurt you or something happening in the world that is hurting you. And it feels wrong and unfair, awful. And I my call to action, like my call to arms.
Yeah. And what your mind makes that mean, I'm thinking of a toddler tantrum.
Yes.
I can remember specifically cutting a kiwi wrong for my son when he was about 2. I did it one way, same way the next day, in absolute screaming rage. I have no idea what was wrong with this, this particular configuration of kiwi shapes, but he was absolutely furious. He was 2. He just screamed. You're like, okay, well, do you want it or not? Like, what can you do about that? You can't do what's going on. And I think he couldn't ask for anything differently. But he took that to mean as well, like, you don't love me because you haven't cut my kiwi out properly. That wasn't true, but our mind comes up with all these beliefs and thoughts. They did that because ... and that reinforces the core beliefs and all those underlying fears and this kind of
Make
endless.
it hard for ourselves, don't
Oh,
we?
I know.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And the other thing to think about is like how that manifests. So you will experience anger totally differently to how I do. There'll be different physical. I mean, there's a commonality, but your experience of it and what you grade as anger as opposed to frustration and irritation. Because if you look on the guidance scale, this is what I was checking out. Anger is 17 on the emotional guidance scale, right? So it's just below discouragement. and just above revenge. So those are the three, right, that they talk about. Okay, you don't always go, and then above that, so you go anger, discouragement, blame, worry, doubt, disappointment. This is going up. Overwhelm, frustration, irritation, pessimism, boredom, and contentment. You don't always have to go through all of those. You can descend quite rapidly, but there's a different kind of gradient even within that word anger. So there can be, you know, like a mild kind of simmering grr kind of a feeling, right the way through to red rage, cannot see anything else, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And people might argue that rage is different, but what I mean is like the intensity of the anger can be very different. It shows up in the body very differently. And so what I found is the easiest way to deal with anger is in the physical sense, because then you're not telling stories about it. You're not justifying it. You're not explaining it. You're not rationalizing it. You're not trying to push it away. You're literally honoring how it's showing up in your body and getting rid of restriction so it can float in through and out, because that's, as we know, what energy is meant to do. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And whenever I'm working with someone and we go back to a memory that's very angry, we just let the echo, the younger version of the client, have a rage, like be angry, do what you got to do, move your body. So like I've had people like with 5-year-old versions of themselves just smashing plates and stuff and just like running around and like moving it through their body, like processing it, because it gives you want to do something when you're angry. You want to take action. It's so big, isn't it, sometimes?
That's it. And that's because it's what we call an upwardly rising energy. So in the body you've got a chakra column, so all of these, you know, spinning wheels of energy, if you like, and they are very real. They have been photographed, they do exist. Like, it's not, this is not woo, this is science. But energy flows around up and down the chakra column. If you think about it like the spine, right, you've got cerebrospinal fluid flowing up and down, giving energy to all the different vertebrae and the different nerves and whatever, so that you can actually walk around and not fall over in a heap. And the life force energy goes up and down the chakra column. When we are angry, it is an upwardly rising energy of, I have to do something about this. This is not fair. I have to take a stand. Now, if you think about it, another upwardly rising energy is enthusiasm and passion, right? So you can transmute
two sides of the same coin,
into passion. You can, when you release kind of like the, you know, the mental stories and the emotional charge around what it is you're angry about.
And you know that it's for a benefit. Or every single emotion has that, doesn't it? Duality of the positive and the negative. Which side of the street are you on? Is this a good thing for me or is this a bad thing for me? Like, anger can create real shifts and make stuff happen. Like, you can kind of pootle along, everything's fine, and then this volcano could erupt.
And that's why when people say, oh, we've never had an argument, I go, really? Like, it's good for you, as in a couple, you know, because you have to get it up and out. There's constructive ways of doing it, don't get me wrong, but I don't know, I can't.
It's what you do with the anger, isn't it? Because you can go for a walk, you can channel it, you can choose when you're going to discuss something, or you can smash your cupboard, slam your cupboard doors. You can, the whole thing, I'm fine, slam. Are you sure you're fine? You're picking up a bit of anger from you. No, fine. What do you do? What's the impact of your anger? And that's not something we're taught really. It's like how to manage, well, any of our emotions really, but how to, you're not allowed to be angry. You've got to be good. You've got to be like, as always, all the rules we have to fit into society. So what do you do with this anger? Often it just goes in. I must be wrong. I can't put it out there. So it must be, I'll keep it in me.
Absolutely. And I have seen this firsthand in people where they have kept anger and resentment and all the other things that often, because anger and feelings like that hunt in packs, right? They it's very seldom on its own. So like anger and resentment, anger and a feeling of wanting revenge, all of these different things. But I've seen somebody very recently who had kept anger in for a very long time, and it came out in their skin. Very angry skin for no reason, right? There was nothing else that it was, and they couldn't get rid of the skin complaint. No creams were touching it, no treatments, no steroids, nothing was touching it, and it was anger coming out in the skin.
It's got to come out somewhere. Exactly.
And if we don't let it up and out, it will find its way up and out.
Yeah. I read something really useful recently. Like, if you're upset with somebody after 24 hours of something, then talk about it within 48 hours. And that was like, like, give it a day. Is that okay or is it not? And if it's not, then deal with it. Otherwise, exactly that, it's going to come out somewhere. And it will sort of take it in turns. Okay, all right, I'll store that one up next time around. Oh yeah, you did this to me last time. Oh, and another thing, and another thing. I remember actually,
Goodness.
an ex-boyfriend 20 odd years ago. Sorry, we had a kind of, everything poured out of me. By the way, this thing you did 3 months, because I had no way of like communicating in the moment because I was too worried about the reaction. And he just came up with this list of things that I didn't even know I was storing up. And he was just like, wow, do you even like me? I'm sorry, wherever you are. But it's,
like, I don't know a person who is regulated enough to say, okay, so I'm feeling a bit of anger right now. I'm just going to go away and tap for a few minutes and then we'll have a constructive conversation. We don't. And that's because of this upwardly rising energy. It's so fast and so rapid. The only thing I found to catch it is tapping without words. Just to tap it before it goes rah, in the direction of whoever you're stood with or whatever.
Exactly.
I don't always stop it when it comes to the news. I'm not going to lie. I don't really watch the news. And every single time I watch it, it goes rah at the TV because I'm like, Well,
that's the thing, isn't it? It will come out at a place that feels safe, an outlet that feels okay for you to do that. So it will, like, so all that stuff that the volcano you're sitting on, that's road rage. One person cuts you up. Like, they get it all. They don't know, obviously, they can't hear you raging at them in your car. But I've got a friend of mine, she's in the car, everything, the rage that comes out of her, it's like no one else in there. She's got this little safe space and she's effing and blinding. And like, everyone's an awful driver. She gets out, morning, like she's, but that's her, like,
good.
Literally her safe vehicle for what's the word, vocalizing and expressing. She's pretty good at standing her ground anyway. So this is like an extra level. We've all got a river of rage in there somewhere, as you say.
100%. And I think it's important to also acknowledge that there's two parts to this. Well, there's multiple parts, but the two biggies that we're looking at is this upwardly rising energy, this frequency of anger, and the words that are the vehicle that carry it. Because when we speak words are spells, hence the thing, spelling. So the words we use carry the energy of what we're thinking up and out of our bodies and into the ether. That's what people feel. When you're looking at it on a spiritual perspective, that's what's going on, right? So that's why swearing and curse words can be incredibly effective. I mean, I use profanity. I've trademarked it, profanity tapping, because I just the amount of people that I've taken through and I've said, what do you really want to say? Have at it.
This is your chance. Just let it all out there.
Oh my God, the air went blue, like literally. But they're so much better,
it's been proven to reduce pain impact, isn't it? And it does really work, swearing and really letting rip in a safe space. Like, you can get the old baseball bat on the pillow and all that stuff. It's really healthy to be able to express all of our emotions and not suppress them.
Yeah, indeed. So for anybody going, oh my God, please help me with this, this is what we're going to give you today is, I suppose it's going to be like a bit of a circuit breaker, a pattern interrupt for you, a process that's going to be quite short for you to just, what I'll do is I'll do a process with you, Jemima, but I will also say at the end of that how they can just in like 2 minutes just do a quick circuit breaker that doesn't take, whatever time we're going to take to do this. So you can kind of do it in a shortened version, because I think it's really important for people to realize that anger is not a bad thing. We don't have to stuff it down. Let it come up, but the tapping will help you metabolize it, right? It'll help you transmute it into whatever the anger is calling you to do, right? Whether it's some kind of world injustice, right? I'm starting my own charity, rah, I've had enough of this, rah, or I'm sick of this same argument coming over again, right? We're going out for dinner and we're going to sit and talk like rational adults, whatever it is that it's calling you to do, there's something. but it's that in-betweeny moment between the uprising of the Ra
Yeah.
and the decision of, right, what do I do with that? We kind of get a haze, don't we? Like, that's why they call it red rage, isn't it? Because it just,
it descends. And that just pops into my mind, you know, how we're taught about anger. And often, you know, it's like, get your shoes on, we're going out. Come on, get your shoes on, we're going out. Will you get your shoes on, we're going out? Like, your kids will not respond until you're screaming in their face, we are leaving now. Like, that is where that, you know, I'm not being heard, escalates. Like, that works. Like, when you're screaming and raging and really angry, people do what they say because they're scared. But that is not where you really want to be. Well, that's not, you know, it's not healthy. So there's a lot in there, like being heard and all that stuff, but it's just that kind of escalation. That's why people do it again and again, because that's what they were taught. That's what works.
Fear brings
absolutely lose it. It comes in. Yeah.
It's, and this is, you know, it disgusts me that people do this, but that's how a lot of dog training is done with fear, you know, with the threat of panda or whatever. It doesn't work. Dogs, like humans, you know, they work on emotions. And if we can find the joy or find our way to the joy as opposed to the whatever else, it's a lot more effective. But it takes retraining that brain of ours, because we have been conditioned that anger is not safe for us, for anyone else. It's not polite. It's not what a nice girl does or a nice person does. On and on and on I could go about that, and I won't, because it'll make me angry.
Tap. Let's just tap.
Let's just tap.
Oh my God.
But again, that comes from frustration, right?
Yeah.
So if I let myself sit in the frustration, and if you look on the emotional guidance scale, you'll see what I mean. If you sit too long in frustration, it will descend into anger.
Yeah.
So,
you know, to put that on the
that link. That's a good idea for everybody.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about doing this little exercise in the body?
I am ready.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't have to tell me anything. You don't have to divulge any information. What we're going to do is just focus on the body. So I'm just going to ask you to, and this little exercise is like a precursor. So just rub your palms together for a sec. Get some heat going. It just activates your palm chakras. If you don't believe in chakras, that's all fine and well. Play with the energy anyway. Give it a go. And then just place your hands over your heart center and take a couple of nice deep breaths into the pit of your belly, in for 4 and out for 6. Because doing that will help switch on your relaxation response when you breathe out for longer than you breathe in. It doesn't matter how fast you count, whatever's comfortable for you. Okay, so calling all parts of you back into this moment. What I'm going to ask you to do is think of a time, and it can either be the first time, the last time, or the worst time you felt angry, either with someone, something, some situation, some circumstance.
Yep. Yesterday. Yeah.
So that anger,
an estate agent.
Oh, okay. Oh, I guess I
stereotypical. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're going to do, just tap on your collarbones or the side of your hand, whichever's more comfortable for you while you're tapping. And so while you're bringing this to mind, I just want you to notice what's happening in your body. Where do you feel that anger?
So in my tummy, and it is actually rising up through my body to my throat too, and into my jaw.
You see the upwardly rising energy of anger. Yeah. It starts in the gut because it's our gut reaction, but it's coming up because it's challenging us to say something, right? To do something. So can you describe what that anger feels like for me?
So yeah, I've got quite an intense feeling in my stomach, in my tummy. Yeah. It's sort of moving around. And it's sort of in my mind, I visualize like flames actually coming all the way up through, like a bit like a volcano with lava.
Ooh.
Yeah. I can feel my breathing being affected. Yeah. Tension. Okay. And how intense is that right now for you? About an 8.
Okay. So I'm not going to ask you any more questions, because what I want to do is give you a really quick shift. So on the side of your hand, we're just going to say, and you guys can follow along. Repeat after us, okay? On the side of the hand, even though I've got this intense, angry feeling in my tummy.
Even though I've got this intense, angry feeling in my tummy.
And it's moving around like volcano lava.
And it's moving around like volcano lava.
Right here and right now.
Right here and right now.
I choose to give myself compassion.
I choose to give myself compassion.
Does that feel okay?
Yeah. And I just want to say, I know it's not about the estate agent because other stuff's kicking in.
Gotcha.
So it's like you can just do an all-encompassing.
Gotcha. And you know what? Keep tapping on the side of your hand while I'm just going to presence this.
Mm-hmm.
It does act like that, like a rolling ball rolling down a hill, right? It gathers moss, whatever that the rolling rock gathers no moss, but it does. It's like a thing, and it just is like a
snowball
cyclone, and it picks other things up as it goes, right? So don't be alarmed if your brain is going, and another thing, rah, because this is your brain's chance. This is your body's chance to let this up and out. So just be brave, keep tapping and breathing. This is for everybody, and just sit with the feelings. They're not going to hurt you. Okay, they are just feelings. Okay. So I've got these really intense flames.
I've got these really intense flames.
Moving up from my stomach to my mouth.
Moving up from my stomach to my mouth.
And there's lots of things that these flames are about.
And there's lots of things that these flames are about.
And it's impacting my breathing.
And it's impacting my breathing.
I feel tense.
I feel tense.
And right here and right now.
And right here and right now.
I know that these feelings are not going to hurt me.
I know that these feelings are not going to hurt me.
Okay, let's just crack on. So we're going to go up to the eyebrow. Oh, all this anger in my body.
All this anger in my body.
Side of the eye. All these reasons to be angry.
All these reasons to be angry.
Under the eye. All these ways I've been hurt.
All these ways I've been hurt.
Under the nose. All these situations out of my control.
All these situations out of my control.
Chin. All these irritating circumstances.
All these irritating circumstances.
On the collarbones. All these things I want to change.
All these things I want to change.
Under the arm. All these things that don't feel fair.
All these things that don't feel fair.
Top of the head. Or feel right to me.
Or feel right to me.
Back to the eyebrow. All this new anger.
All this new anger.
Side of the eye. All this old anger.
All this old anger.
Under the eye. These volcano flames.
These volcano flames.
Under the nose. This lava moving around my body.
This lava moving around my body. And I just have to say this because it keeps coming up for me. And what this anger might make me do. That's why it's not safe to be angry.
Yeah, I love it. Okay. On the chin. I'm worried about what this anger will make me do.
I'm worried about what this anger will make me do.
Collarbones. It doesn't feel safe.
It doesn't feel safe.
Under the arm. It's never felt safe.
It's never felt safe.
Top of the head. I wonder what it would be like if it felt safe.
I wonder what it would be like if it did feel safe.
Okay, let's keep tapping because it's still quite intense, right? Back to the eyebrow. This volcano in my body.
This volcano in my body.
Side of the eye. It's not safe to let it erupt.
It's not safe to let it erupt.
Under the eye. I don't know how deep it goes.
I don't know how deep it goes.
The nose. I don't know what's in there.
I don't know what's in there.
Chin. You can't control a volcano.
You can't control a volcano and it's destructive.
Collarbones. Volcanoes destroy everything.
Volcanoes destroy everything.
Under the arm. This destructive anger.
This destructive anger.
Top of the head. I wonder if I could start to relax and really release some.
I wonder if I could start to relax and release some.
So tapping on your collarbones. How intense is that now?
It's gone up a bit.
That's dead normal. And that's why I stopped to ask, because it's really, really normal. We are giving it space now. So please do expect that this will get worse before it gets better. Okay.
It's like 12 out of 10.
Okay. All right, good. Well, at least it's not a 38,000 out of 10.
Yeah.
So, okay. So back up to the eyebrow. So much anger.
So much anger.
Side of the eye. It's not safe to let it up and out.
It's not safe to let it up and out.
Under the eye. What will it make me do?
What will it make me do?
Under the nose. What will it make me say?
What will it make me say?
Chin. I'm not used to expressing anger.
I'm not used to expressing anger, and it seems pointless anyway.
Ah, there's a little shift. Okay, collarbones. And part of me feels like it's pointless anyway.
Part of me feels like it's pointless anyway.
Yeah. Under the arm. And I'm going to give myself loads of compassion around that.
And I'm going to give myself loads of compassion around that.
Yeah. Top of the head. There's anger in me that I've carried for a long time.
There's anger in me that I've carried for a long time.
And I'm saying that because there is with everybody, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Eyebrow. That's fair to say, right?
Mm-hmm.
So onto the eyebrow.
In 2-year-old tantrums.
Yeah, my 2-year-old.
We've all had one of those. Yeah.
Outside of the eye. Part of me wants to kick and scream.
Part of me wants to kick and scream.
Under the eye. Maybe even punch something.
Maybe even punch something.
Under the nose. But that's not what a good girl does.
That's not what a good girl does.
Chin. It's not safe to be angry.
It's not safe, and I don't want to hurt anyone or anything.
Gotcha. Collarbones. I really don't want to hurt anybody or anything.
I really don't want to hurt anybody or anything.
Yeah, under the arm. So I wonder how I can express this anger.
I wonder how I can express this anger.
Top of the head. All this old and new anger in my body.
All this old and new anger in my body.
Okay. Let's just go back to the collarbones for a sec. Ooh, where are we now?
Yeah, it's come down to about 7.
Okay, good work.
And it's slightly higher in my stomach and a little bit in my jaw, but less in my tube. Whatever that tube is between my stomach and my esophagus. It's very technical.
Oh yeah, that thing.
Yeah.
So when you say it's higher in your stomach, is it like underneath your ribs?
Yeah, like solar plexus.
Exactly.
Higher up it wasn't sort of in the bottom of my stomach, and now it's the top of my stomach.
Yeah. And so that perfectly illustrates, while you keep tapping, this upwardly rising energy. It's now in your solar plexus. Your solar plexus is about taking action and doing something, right? So we're going to listen to that cue, and we're going to ask the anger question. And you don't have to say it out loud. You just give yourself the answer silently, right? So back up to the eyebrow. This anger is trying to tell me something.
This anger is trying to tell me something.
Side of the eye. It's a call to action.
It's a call to action.
Under the eye, it's sitting in my solar plexus.
Sitting in my solar plexus.
Under the nose and in my jaw.
And in my jaw.
Chin. I wonder if there's something it wants me to say.
I wonder if there's something it wants me to say.
Yeah. Collarbones. I'm just going to ask the question and listen.
Just going to ask the question and listen.
Under the arm. What do I need right now?
What do I need right now? Got Let It Go by Frozen.
Oh.
Singing in my head. Let it go. Let it go.
It's a really good pattern.
Makes me a little bit more angry.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Never seen it, so I couldn't sympathize.
Me neither. But no, it's like, I don't want to let it go because that doesn't solve anything.
Okay. So we've got some duality going on here because it feels pointless, and it also pointless to keep it, and it feels pointless to let it go.
Yeah.
That doesn't solve anything either. Okay, so let's do some duality argument tapping, right? Is there anything else that feels important to say?
It's just a lot of teenage attitude going on.
I hate you, like Kevin.
Whatever, major loser. That's what I want to say. You don't even get it. Like, it's proper teenagery. Ragey. I know better than you. Don't tell me what to do. All of that stuff, which I never really put out there.
Okay, do you want to? Or do you want to say it? Or do you want to just make like a noise?
I just had this rush of energy going through my legs. It's starting to clear, and I'm just seeing my younger self, and I'm my teenage self.
Yeah.
I'm going to invite her to say it.
Okay, good.
she's telling me I'm a major loser as well, so that's fine.
Okay.
I love you anyway.
Gotta love teenagers. Love you.
Love you.
So for those listening, if you want to envision the younger side of you, the teenager or the child, and let them have a tantrum and just see it in your mind's eye, that's what we're doing right now.
Yeah, and I'm seeing even younger versions of me, like, it's not fair. Again, just the feeling was there.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever really fully expressed it, because it felt pointless even then. Like, no, this is not nice. Just put it away.
And how is that teenage version of you doing now?
She's exhausted, actually. So I did do a lot of it all went inwards, self-harming and hitting myself and that kind of thing. I did a lot of that. I never told anyone. I used to punch myself in the head and stuff so people wouldn't see the bruises. A lot of stuff like that for a long time.
Yeah. And, thank you for sharing that and being so transparent, because there will be people who in a similar position. We will put a resource in for things like that. And if you need support with these deep feelings, it can come from all sorts of places, but it can do all sorts of funny things to us. And so, if you need deeper help, then we'll put some stuff in there for you. And the important thing here, when we've got things like that coming up, is to keep tapping, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to make you say any words.
Yeah. And again, I've done it's really interesting, like just the emotion coming up, because again, I've had another wave through my body, just acknowledging it and saying it out loud. Some of the anger is because it is that hurt underneath. That's what self-harm's about, isn't it? It's like hurt. What do I do with this pain? I need to feel it.
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm just sitting with my teenage self.
What does she need to hear or to know from you right now?
That she's amazing, and she doesn't have to worry, because there's a lot of good stuff coming. She doesn't need to know what she's going to do with her life, because I didn't know. She's on the right path. She's doing brilliantly.
Doing great.
If I knew then what I know now and all of that. So I'm just going to download all the techniques I've learned.
Yep.
I'm going to give her the emotional scale. I'm going to give her our podcast to listen to.
I think that's good.
And just I'm giving her, basically, she's in her room, putting her like in a bubble of safety, so she can just sit in there and do what teenagers like to do, which is listen to music and feel the stuff. And she's going to just start writing it down and processing it and allowing it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to sit with her while I'm just going to help her. All the stuff I've learned. I'm going to sit with her and go through it.
I love that. And the beauty of energetics is that whether in real life or in the matrix, when you calm and regulate your energy system, it calms and regulates the energy field of people in your field, right? So if you're sat next to someone, and it works over distance as well, because we're all connected. So by you calming and regulating now, she will be able to, by osmosis, soak that up.
Yeah. It's weird. She's wearing the same jumper as I am, even though obviously I wasn't wearing it then, but that's how I see her. She's just a younger version of me. So it's interesting what the mind sort of does. Like a couple of dreams I've had this week have had anger in them and like frustration. So that's sort of coming to mind. It's obviously the time for this to start to come out. And you can't access those younger versions until you're able to handle it, really.
Yeah.
Be able to hold it and process it.
Meaning that today, right now, here is the perfect time, right, for this to come up and out. And you never need to be, for you and for everybody listening, you never need to be afraid about this either, because you will never, the universe and your higher self will never let you release more than you need to release, or not, less than you need to release. It's all perfect. It is all perfect. And so just try and relax and try to feel safe in the moment, even with these emotions, because that is the key, right? If we boil it back, emotions flow in, through and out. Trauma and upset and things that have happened lock them into the body. So all we're doing is we are allowing the electrical circuits that are keeping them, in place, free up. We're allowing that energy to flow in, through and out. Shift
Our emotions are feedback, literally feedback. They're telling us where we are in relation to what we want, and we want us to feel better. So it's telling you how you are. So how do you move through that? It's just information. It's not fact.
Exactly. And so if we're going to use that as a template, right, and we've mentioned the emotional guidance scale before, what would be the next better feeling thought for you right now that would take you back up the emotional guidance scale a little bit?
So relief, and it's all going to be okay. Like for her, I can let her know. I know what's coming. It's going to be great. She's got some great stuff coming.
Yeah.
So the relief of where I am now compared to where I was, the journey to get there, and all of that, and it's just like, oh, it's okay. It's okay. Just relax where you are. You can enjoy it.
Yeah. Love it. And oftentimes, when we do have a release, you've said a couple of times that energy has kind of gone down your legs and your feet, spiritually speaking, a lot of the time we are releasing energy back into the earth for recycling when that's happening, because as we said, energy flows up and down the chakra column, and it will find its way out when it needs to dissipate, right? So it might feel like it's coming out of your finger ends, it might rush out of the top of your head, it might come out your mouth, it might go out your feet. It doesn't matter, and it's not logical, so it just goes where it wants to go.
So she's having a little nap. She's exhausted. She's been angry for a long time. So we're going to put on some nice music.
Cool.
Wrap her up.
What's the track of choice, out of interest?
Do
you know?
Some kind of plinky plunky relaxation meditation music.
Very nice. Very nice. And how are you feeling in your body right now? So talk to me about the volcano and the flames and stuff. What's going on now?
Yeah, it's kind of feels like it's rained. It's all a bit charred and a bit there's devastation, but the flames have gone. So there's a little bit in my jaw, but there's no fire in my tummy. There's a sort of like an ache, like a remnant of, it's like after the battle kind of thing.
You often find that, don't you? Like when you've worked out and the next day you're like, oh, shouldn't have done that. That's
I always
smart.
say, like, releasing emotions, like putting down a heavy box. You're like, wow, that took a lot of energy. Carrying that around. 100%. So there's a kind of relief, but there's also it's sort of bruised and like feel a bit battered and a bit what's the word? Like someone's had a good go at me. I've had a fight post battle. I don't know what the word is for that.
Right. Okay.
Battle weary.
Battle weary. That's a great way to sum it up. So what I'm going to invite you to do is just see a mist of colour out in front of you. Okay. That represents what you need right now to shift that feeling of being battle weary. What would soothe that for you? What kind of colour?
It's pinky, purpley, gold.
Lovely. That's exactly the colour I had in my mind. Not even kidding. So with every lovely deep breath in, I want you to breathe in that pinky, purpley gold into your body, into anywhere it needs to go, in the order it needs to go in, to soothe that charred, battle-weary feeling. Every breath in, you're breathing in a little bit more of that colour. And it's swimming through your body, just soothing, calming, nurturing, whatever other word you need to use. Can you get a good sense of that? Yeah.
Like feeling in the mist.
Colour is a really lovely thing to use. You can have a colour represent anything you need, whether it's motivation, whether it's nurturing and love. And you just breathe it into your body and it does the rest. It's really powerful. And it also connects the left and right of the brain and helps you to reconsolidate those memories that may be linked to the anger that we've just been talking about. It's really useful.
I'm also seeing my echo, my younger me, with sort of Disney gold dust sprinkling into her.
Very nice.
You know, those magical transformations they do.
Yeah, like when Snow White and who was it? Anyway,
Sleeping Beauty.
That's the one. I always get them wrong because I don't watch Disney, you see, so I know a little bit, but not the full whack.
Yeah, that kind of dreamy, magical
swoosh of a magic wand with that little
gold.
Gorgeous. Is there anything else that you need for you or for her right now that feels important?
I'm just going to let her know that she can literally sleep as long as she needs to. I'm with her. She can reach out to me. She's doing really well. She's doing so much better than she thinks she is, as we all are always. But I'm just gonna, I'm gonna check in with her later as well. So I'm gonna let her know I'm gonna come back to her.
Awesome.
And right now, I just need to roll my shoulders a little bit.
Yeah. This is really important as well. Have a drink. You know, if you're following along with us, maybe like roll your shoulders like Jemima did, or shake your hands out like this, or like, you know, jiggle your feet up, bounce your feet up and down on the floor, jiggle your knees, whatever it is, shift around, have a good stretch. Jemima's having a real good stretch.
Yeah.
If you're not watching the YouTube version of this. And it's important because kinetic movement also moves energy out. And so there's a reason that they used to recommend punching a pillow for anger, because that movement can help to shift it out. But it's so powerful, but in combo, it's great.
Yeah.
So how are you?
Keeps the score and all that. I feel good. I'm quite tired. I can feel that work that I've just done. But I feel really peaceful. I'm just thinking about the estate agent yesterday. I have quite a lot of compassion for him. That's fine.
Nice. It's lovely.
Yeah.
So it shifted through, and this is the really good thing, because when we talked about anger shifting to sadness, right? Oftentimes when sadness or whatever was underneath it shifts away, compassion comes in. That's when we can access compassion. And when we can access compassion, we can access real healing.
Yeah.
Because it's like you're stepping outside of yourself, and that anger is, it's not there anymore. Or at least if it's not there, it's been channeled into something more constructive.
Yeah. Any emotion should only take like 2 or 3 minutes to go through your body.
Yeah.
Anything longer than that, it's being fed by things. So interesting. I'm just checking in with a belief around my younger self. And it's like, what about me? She was like, where am I in all of this? And that's how the estate agent made me feel. Where am I? What about me?
Yeah.
He's not paying any attention. So that's why it triggered all that younger stuff.
And so what is the gift and the calling in that?
That I'm important and I have needs and I can get them met.
Yeah.
Myself, and I can ask for stuff.
Perfect. Yeah. It's safe to set boundaries, right? And ask for what you need.
Yeah.
Which is often what we don't do. We're conditioned to feel like we can't ask for what we need. And that's a really simple way to dissipate the remnants.
And as a teenager, generally, there's this kind of I can do anything feeling, and you need the boundaries. Like you can't, like a toddler crossing the road, until they understand about traffic, you don't let them cross the road.
Yeah.
And that's true always. I think, we can only do what we can do.
That's it.
That makes sense.
It does. Lovely. So we need anything else, or are you okay to come back to me?
Yeah, I'm good.
Amazing.
Hello.
Morning. Where you been?
Crazy dream I just had.
See, this is the thing. So in the space of 20 minutes, we've gone on a journey. You will, you know this, but I'm just saying this for the purpose of people listening. You will feel tired. You will need to hydrate a lot today, because that was really big. Lots of emotion came up, but I just want to wrap my arms energetically around you and say, well done, because
Thank you.
it isn't easy. I wasn't, I didn't know what was going to come up, and we tried to steer clear of detail, but that fear of even just sitting and feeling the feelings is what stops most people even going anywhere near self-help, or certainly not tapping on their own, because they're like, I don't know what's going to come up.
Yeah.
And I get that, right?
Yeah. And we do that work going back, and you don't have to do that if you're listening and you feel angry. Like I was just describing where it came from, because it was very teenagery. So it's like, we're all going to know what that feels like, a raging teenager. Oh yeah. So you can just tap on how you feel in your body. You don't need to know where it comes from or go back or any of that.
Yeah.
Have
we put 7 Steps to Calm as a resource in? I will check, but
I don't think so.
It's based on either anxiety or anger, and it's a very, very short guide from me that you can have for free that just will take you through, and there's like a video showing you through the guide, and there's a little script in there that you can just use,
oh yeah, perfect.
It's oftentimes people are nervous about, I don't know what to say, so yeah. you can sign up for that if you want it, and that will help you just get used to how and you just swap anxiety for anger or whatever other emotion you're feeling, frustration, irritation, rage,
Yeah. I don't even know what that means anymore. What? Honestly, I feel really peaceful now.
Good.
Really calm, and I'm much more grounded. Good. So we were saying before the call, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing myself at the moment. I don't. And now I'm just like, well, I'm going to have lunch in a bit and see what I do next. Like I feel more focused.
Good. And I think that's the thing, when you get rid of the stuff that's creating dissonance in the energy body, in the body itself, and therefore then the brain, you come back to center, don't you? And it's just like snapping back into the now, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. And you've slowed your brain waves down, you've come back into a relaxed alpha, the thinky mind is back online, it's come back from the bar, it's had a pina colada.
Yeah. And I didn't even know it was off,
And this is the thing. So if you find yourself wandering around aimlessly thinking, I can't focus, I don't know what to do, it's because you're in a stress response. The mind, the thinky brain, the rational mind, the decision maker, it goes offline completely when we're in a stress response. And so even just tapping on the collarbones and breathing for a few minutes will do you the power of good, if that's you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Good.
Oh, awesome.
That was a deep one, wasn't it?
Very, yeah. Boom, love that. This is when people come on a session with me and they're like, I don't really know what to work on today. I'm like, okay, something amazing is about to happen. I don't know where this is going to go. So it's always a really good sign. And I'm just going to be so chill the rest of the day. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I'll check in on you later. And those who have listened or watched, thank you so much. Do feel free to
reach out if you need to. You don't have to stay angry.
No, you don't. You don't have to stay stuck in any emotion that you don't want to.
Absolutely. Nice. Good. Wow.
Thank you.
See you next time. Yeah, that's a love.
Take it easy.